Hi, this is Liam from Orange Brackets. Welcome. Today we're going to clean up interview chaos at Talentflow. Right now, interviews feel random. Different questions, missing basics, and costly mishires. Our goal is simple: turn every job description into a consistent interview kit. One that covers the right skills, follows company rules, and fits into a 45 to 60-minute plan. We'll load the inputs, build a small prompt with LangChain, generate the kit automatically, and then visualize the time plan so any manager can run a strong, fair interview. All right, let's make this repeatable and fair for every candidate. Let's kick off by importing Pandas as PD, our go-to for reading CSV files and working with tables. This gives us a simple way to load and inspect our data. Now I'll set a variable for the file location, the jobs path, pointing to our job description CSV. Keeping paths in variables makes swapping files later quick and safe. Great, let's load that CSV into a jobs data frame. Pandas reads the file at that path and gives us a tidy table we can analyze. Before we go on, let's peek at the first few rows. This confirms the file loaded and shows us what columns we have to work with. So, we just loaded the job descriptions. Think of each row as one role. You'll see a short summary, responsibilities, required skills, and core competencies. This is our source of truth for what matters in the interview. We'll use it to shape questions and keep the conversation tied to real job needs. Next, let's point to our interview structure policies file. I'll store the path to the policies CSV in a variable so it's easy to swap later. Now we'll load that file with Pandas and save it as our policies data frame. That gives us a clean table to work with. Quick check. Let's call head to preview the first few rows. If the columns and sample values look right, we're good. These interview structure policies are the house rules. They define what categories we must cover, the minimum number of questions, topics that are off limits, and how scoring should work. This matters because it creates consistency and reduces bias. It also protects us from asking things we shouldn't. We'll bake these rules directly into the kit. Now let's save the path to our competency dictionary CSV. Putting the file location in a variable keeps things reusable and easy to update. We'll load that CSV with Pandas and turn it into a data frame, a neat table-like object we can analyze and transform. And a quick peek at the top rows to confirm everything loaded and the columns look as expected. The competency dictionary defines what good looks like. You'll see definitions, behavioral indicators, and level guidance. We'll use this to tag each question with a competency and adjust difficulty by seniority. That way, juniors, mids, and seniors get fair questions at the right depth. Let's bring in our toolkit. .env to load secret keys from a file. The chat OpenAI wrapper to talk to OpenAI. A prompt template helper to shape our questions. And a simple parser to pull out plain text. This sets up a tidy LangChain workflow. Now we'll load the .env file so environment variables are ready to use. No hard coding keys, safer, cleaner, and easy to manage. Let's spin up the chat model. I'm choosing GPT-4o Mini with a low temperature for steady, repeatable answers. It will pick up the API key we just loaded. And we'll prep a string parser. When the model replies, this gives us clean text we can print, log, or pass to the next step. Time to set up our model flow. We'll keep the temperature low for consistent outputs. We're going to wrap the model with a prompt template that merges three things: the job details, the policy rules, and the competency dictionary. The output should be a structured kit managers can use right away. Let's start by drafting our prompt as a list of short lines. We'll outline the interview kit, role, level, policies, must-ask questions, competencies, and a 1 to 5 rubric, with placeholders we can fill later. I'll close the list here so we've got a clean collection of prompt lines we can rearrange or edit easily. Now let's stitch those lines into one block of text by joining with new lines. That makes it read like a clear, structured brief. With that text ready, we'll wrap it in a prompt template, so those placeholders become real input fields we can populate at runtime. And I'll evaluate the prompt object to sanity check it, just making sure the template looks right before we use it. Here's the heart of it, the prompt. We pass in the role and level, tell the model to follow the policies, avoid prohibited topics, and reflect seniority. We ask it to produce questions, mark must-ask items, tag competencies, and label difficulty. We include a simple 1 to 5 scoring rubric with clear anchors, and we time-box the plan to 45 to 60 minutes. In short, we're turning messy inputs into a clean, reusable interview kit. We'll start by choosing the target role, Sales Manager. Everything we generate will align to this role. Next, set the seniority level to mid. That gives the model the right context for scope and expectations. Now let's filter the jobs table to just that role, then convert it to a compact CSV string. This becomes the job context we feed into the prompt. Do the same for company policies. Turn the policies table into CSV text. The model will use this to stay compliant with the rules. And convert the competencies table to CSV as well. These anchor the skills and behaviors we expect. Great, now bundle everything into one inputs dictionary: role, level, job text, policy text, competency text, and a time box of 60 minutes. This is the clean payload we'll send into the chain. Here we run the chain. The prompt flows into the model, then through the parser, and we invoke it with our inputs. The output should come back structured and ready to use. Finally, let's print the results so we can review what the model produced and decide if we want to tweak and run again. Awesome! We just generated a kit for a mid-level sales manager. You should see categories, must-ask questions, competency tags, difficulty levels, and a 1 to 5 rubric, plus a clear 60-minute plan. This helps managers know what to ask, how to score, and how to keep time. It also makes the process fair for candidates because everyone gets a consistent experience. Let's visualize the time plan. First, bring in Matplotlib's plotting tools under the short name PLT so we can build a chart. Now we'll pull the question categories from our policies data. These will be the labels on the x-axis. Next, grab the minimum number of questions per category, convert them to integers to be safe, and keep them as our counts. Time to translate counts into time. We'll take each count, divide by the total, then scale to a 60-minute plan. That gives minutes per category. Let's open a new figure and set a comfortable size so everything fits nicely. Great, draw a bar chart. Categories along the bottom, allocated minutes as the bar heights. I'll label the y-axis as minutes so the scale is clear. And we'll add a title to explain what we're seeing, a 60-minute time plan by category. Let's tilt the category labels about 20 degrees to keep them readable. Finally, tighten the layout to prevent overlap and show the chart. Here's the visual time plan. We translated the policy minimums into minutes across a 60-minute interview. Each bar shows how much time to spend in a category. This helps managers pace the conversation and make sure the required areas get covered. If you need a 45-minute version, scale the same proportions down. And that's our pipeline. Job descriptions in, policy and competency structure applied, a clean interview kit generated, and a simple time plan created. With this setup, Talentflow can reduce randomness, lower miss-hire risk, and give candidates a fair, consistent experience. Nice work today. I'm Liam from Orange Brackets, and I'll see you in the next session.